I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stretch, seal my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. Down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know this because I've been in it. I don't need the brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC 285. We got Jon Jones going against Ciryl Gane. We have 14 fights on the card. All 14 of them, as of now, are on. So we didn't lose any fights. Thought we might have with the whole Jeff Neal situation. Jeff Neal missing weight by 4 pounds. So that wasn't good. But other than that, we had Martinez miss weight. But yeah, all 14 fights still on thus far. But we still have a couple hours before these fights start. So hoping these fights still stay on. But yeah, I have a lot to talk about. This is going to be the most action I've had all year thus far. I have 10 bets. I think 17 units on the line. So it's going to be a lot of action for this card. A lot of spots sticking out. If you're into the parlays, the chalk, this is the week for you because, my goodness, we have a ton of big favorites, a ton of chalky price tags, not only on, the fighter to win, but the props as well. So I was not able to find a ton of plus money spots, but did find a lot of spots that did stick out there. So before we get into it, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That'd be much, much appreciated. As always, I'm going a little bit earlier than usual here at 4 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to be doing the best bet show at 7:15 Eastern time tonight. And then I will be leaving for Vegas tonight. I'm actually heading to Cleveland right after that best bet show. So I had to move everything up a little bit. So we can get all this content in before these fights start. Let's say what up to everybody in the chat here. We got Trey in the chat. What's up, Brady? Excited for this card. Let's get this money. Let's get it. Yeah, this card should be phenomenal. Cannot wait for it. We got Tony in the chat. What's up, Tony? He's saying, what's up, Brady? Have fun at the card tomorrow. A little bit of everything here. The return of the GOAT. Tons of great fights. Tons of wide lines. And layup for Bo Nickel. You cannot wait for the debut of Bo Nickel going against Jamie Pickett. I'm really looking forward to that fight. I'm really looking forward to this. This whole main card is just fire. The whole card in general, but especially that main card. It's crazy. What's up, Tommy? Understand who's this guy? Where's Brady? Yes, I finally got a haircut. Finally, after like months of not having one. So it was well needed for sure. We got Ace of Spade. What's up, Brady? What is up, Ace? How you doing? I'm the one saying Jones for the win. We got Robert in the chat saying let's go. Samuel saying, cancel main event, screwed me hard on DK lineups last weekend. Let's make some money. Same. I did everything perfect last weekend from a DraftKings perspective. I had all the right fades. I had all the right plays. And I set myself up to where if Krylov won the main event, it probably would have been a takedown. And if Span won the main event, it probably would have been very close to a takedown. So that hurt. Everything was right outside of the main event getting canceled, and you can't really do much about it. It got canceled like midway through the card. So that sucked. Safe travels, man. Appreciate that, Trey. Appreciate that, Jacob. We got 24K. Will saying, let's get it. Let us get it. When was the last time Valentina justified her line? Well, pretty much every fight outside of the Tyler Santos fight, right? So I think she does justify this minus 900, if I'm being honest. Can't parlay her. Yeah, probably not now at like minus 900, minus 1,000. What's up, 302 Fight Life? What is up? Great card. Let's get it. Indeed. We got Andy Mush in the chat. What is up? We are back, my guys. Let's go. We got Artem in the chat saying big dog, big bear. Yes, sir. All right. I say we get into it, guys. Don't forget to smash the like button. But I say we get into the first fight of the night. We got Loik Radzhabov going against Esteban Ribovics. We got Radzhabov. He is a pretty big favorite here, but the line has came down a tad. Let me pull up these odds. So Radzhabov sitting around like the minus 250 range, minus 275 on some books. And then we have Esteban Ribovics sitting at plus 210. So yeah, it's an interesting fight. Obviously, Radzhabov's fought the much better competition, and it's not even close. I think that's why, he's a pretty decent sized favorite here. Also, probably has a path to victory in terms of getting the fight down to the mat. But I mean, he's coming in here on very short notice, about a week short notice, and he slows down in general. So I'm curious to see how his gas tank does hold up on short notice here. I do have a bet here to kick off the card, and the bet I do have is the finish only for Esteban Ribovics on FanDuel Sportsbook at plus 184. I put a half unit on it. I think the most likely scenario is, Radzhabov probably mixing in takedowns here, controlling the fight, and winning a 15-minute decision. But, Ribovics is super dangerous, and he's dangerous at any point in the fight. He doesn't really get tired. He has multiple finishes in the second and the third round, whereas Radzhabov, he does get tired, and he's coming in here on short notice. So I think Ribovics is going to be live for a finish at any point. But, I think Radzhabov is absolutely live to go out there and take this guy down and control him for the full 15 minutes. I can't get to this price tag on Radzhabov here. I think he's definitely the more well-rounded fighter, the more well-known fighter, and he's fought the better guys, but the short notice aspect of things really scares me away from this price tag. But yeah, it's the finish only for me for Esteban. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't really hate either side, but I'd more so lean towards the Ribovics side just because he's 7,200, extremely cheap. And there's a lot of very expensive plays that I like on this slate. Like, you got to go up there and get Valentina. You got to go up there and get Bo Nickel, Shavkat Rakhmonov. There's a lot of great plays up top. So you got to go down and look for some of these pump plays. And I think Ribovics is somebody that does stick out. You can't ignore a guy that has a 100% finish rate in all of his wins. He's dangerous wherever the fight goes. And again, he's taking on a guy that's coming in here on short notice and a guy that does slow down. So give me that finish only for Ribovics, half a unit. But on DraftKings, I will be, I don't want to say like extremely heavily invested in him because there are some other underdogs I like, but I do have a decent amount of Ribovics on DraftKings just because we need that salary savings this week. We got Lord Tom D saying, what's up, guys? Excited for this card. Me as well. We got Nova saying, hit that thumbs up. I agree. Trey saying, smash the like. I agree. We got Uncle Weezy in the chat. What is up, Weezy? Saying, what's up, Brady? Looking fresh and clean and ready for Vegas. Have fun, dude. Yep. Look a lot better than I did on, what was it, Sunday? I think you called me like a functional alcoholic on Sunday. So I had to go up and switch it up a little bit, Weezy. That's for sure. Tristan with the dono. Appreciate you, Tristan, saying you do a great job. Appreciate the videos. Appreciate you, Tristan, for hanging out, and appreciate the dono. It does mean a lot. Christoph first saying, Brady, we're going to need some merch that says the Unders Club because we love to bet on violence. Yep, I have a lot of violence this card, and I do have actually one over, which is going to be my second over of the year. And appreciate that, Thor. But yeah, should be a really fun fight to kick off the card. Lots of unknowns with both these guys in terms of Ribovics. He's not fought anybody. He looks good, but he has not fought anybody. And then in terms of Radzhabov, the whole short notice aspect of things should be an interesting fight to kick off the card. All right, so we'll move on. We got Farid Basharat going against Damon Blackshear. We have Basharat sitting as a pretty big favorite here. He's sitting at minus 450, minus 500, and the line has not moved much throughout the week. If I was to play this fight, it would probably be a look at the Farid Basharat third round or decision prop. It's like minus 135. I think that's a much better way to play this Basharat side. But I don't have a bet on this fight. I'm going to sit back and just watch this one. I don't think Blackshear's like a completely horrible fighter. It's just I think that Basharat's going to have the advantage everywhere. From what I've seen, Basharat's takedown defense looks really good. So I think Blackshear's going to have a hard time taking him down and holding him down, especially. And then on the feet, that's where I think Basharat's going to have the best advantage. Just really like what I see from the striking from Basharat. Tons of kicks, has a really good head kick, body kick, mixes it up to the legs as well. Lots of reasons to like Basharat in this spot outside of the price. And that's what we're going to see a lot on this card. We have a lot of big favorites. Like, I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 fights, maybe, that have a favorite like minus 200 or less. Like, there's not a ton of closely lined fights on this card. We have the Barriault fights lined close, the Ribas fight, the Jones fight somewhat close, and then the Cody Garbrandt fight is lined somewhat close. Other than that, we have minus 1,000 favorites. We have minus 2,000 favorites. We have minus 800 favorites, so on and so forth. So we're going to see a lot of these big favorites. I think most of them come through, but I will not be parlaying Farid Basharat this week. As far as a DraftKings perspective, there's just so many other plays I like more than Farid Basharat. I think he wins, but I don't see him going out there and starching Blackshear. Nobody's been able to starch Blackshear. 16 fights for Blackshear. None of them have came. And he's never lost inside the distance, and he's fought some solid fighters. So I could see Basharat winning this fight, even mixing in some takedowns here or there, but I just don't think he scores more than, say, a Shavkat Rakhmonov in a win, a Valentina in a win, a Bo Nickel in a win. Some of these, higher price guys, Dricus to Plessis. So I think there's a lot better options from a DraftKings perspective. So I'm going to stay away from Basharat from a DraftKings perspective. And as far as Blackshear, I don't really see myself getting to him either. So from a DraftKings perspective, I'm staying away from the fight. From a betting perspective, I'm staying away from the fight. But the pick is going to be Basharat, and if I was forced to bet it, would be that third round or decision prop, just in case Blackshear does slow down. All right. It is all about the unders, that is for sure. I hate overs, but we will talk about an over I have on this card. All right. We got Josh in the chat. What is up, Josh? Saying, what's up, everyone? Esteban wins. I think he does so via volume in the cards. That's interesting. He's never won a decision, but maybe he can here. Loik has a chin. That is true. And even though he slows down everywhere, the dude can take some shots. That is all true. Yeah, Esteban decision would be something interesting. He's never done it before, but that probably would be a pretty juicy price. Yeah, Esteban by decisions plus 950. So I don't see it personally, but hey, that'd be a pretty crazy call there. 302. Appreciate you, Jason. Thank you for hanging out here on a Friday. And then Jason also says, by the way, Brady, nice work trimming the whiskers. You're looking much less homeless. Yeah, somebody did call me homeless. It was like a month ago. Yeah, somebody was like, you look like a bum and all that. So I don't think I look like much of a bum anymore. So looking pretty decent, I'd say. What are your most confident picks, brother? Ask me towards the end, and I'll tell you. But I have a lot to still talk about. Lots of bets on this card. The first 3 fights are all decisions, but I think the rest finish, and I can see that. I don't know about the Ribas VIviane fight, but I can see a lot of these later fights finishing. That's for sure. I actually like the beard. Yeah, me too. But some people don't like it. And we got Cod or Cade or Cod. Paul in the chat saying, wow, a normal time for us in the UK. There we go. Thank you for stopping in. New show, Bummed by the Numbers. I don't know if anybody would watch that, Moise, but I don't mind it. I do not mind that at all. Appreciate you, Josh. All right, let us keep moving on. And we have Tabatha Ricci going against Jessica Penne. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of these first 3 fights, but I think after that, I'm really looking forward to the last 11 fights. But we have Tabatha Ricci, Jessica Penne. You guessed it, Tabatha Ricci, very big favorite. And she's like minus 300 now against Jessica Penne, which is kind of interesting considering I could have swore she was like minus 150, minus 160 when they were supposed to fight like 5-6 months ago. So, or I think it was even less than that, like maybe 3-4 months ago. So not sure what happened over this little layoff here outside of Penne getting a little bit older. But yeah, I mean, I think Tabatha Ricci should win this fight, but do you really want to lay minus 300 on Tabatha Ricci? I don't personally, but she should be able to get takedowns whenever she wants here. I think the striking is going to be competitive just because either fighter is not a great striker. They're both primarily grapplers, but I don't know. She's tricky. She's she's fought a lot of great competition over the years, but she's 40 years old. So it should be Tabatha Ricci. Should be Tabatha Ricci by decision. The only way I would possibly even think about playing this would be Ricci by decision, but even that's like minus 145. So it's a pass for me, really on all formats. From a betting perspective, I really don't want anything to do with it. And from a DraftKings perspective, although I think Ricci scores decent, it's really hard to get to her this week with everything up top. So it's going to be another pass for me. Going to be a fight that I sit back and watch, but the pick is absolutely going to be Tabatha Ricci. Penne looked great on the scales. Yeah, she didn't look bad. Dogger pass. Yep, for me it's pass or pass, but wouldn't hate anybody taking a shot on Penne at this price. I mean, the price is pretty wild here, to be honest. I like Tabatha Ricci. I've been cashing tickets on her nonstop lately, but my goodness, minus 300. I don't know. Penne for a punt from a DraftKings perspective. I don't know. If she wins this fight, maybe I would think it had to be like either a greasy decision or like an armbar from guard. And Ricci's black belt. I think she'll be okay, but I don't know. I won't get too much of it personally, but she'll be super low owned. I'll tell you that. Ricci, Shavkat, Valentina. Yeah, I don't know if I'd parlay Ricci personally, but I think she wins. Let's see here. Jessica looked pretty drained at weigh-ins. Might get finished. I don't know if she'll get finished. I thought she looked okay. All right. Moving on to the good stuff. All right. So from here on out, I have a bet on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have a bet on the next 10 fights from now on. So it's going to get good. All right. Cameron Saaiman going against Mana Martinez. We got Saaiman as a pretty big favorite here. He is sitting at, actually, what happened? So he was minus 300 all week. Now all of a sudden he's minus 250. So it looks like some money's coming in on Mana Martinez for some reason. Mana Martinez plus 212. So I say some reason because Mana Martinez showed up today and he missed weight. Not only did he miss weight, he missed it by like a pound, not much, but he didn't look great to me. He looked bad. So I'm not really sure why money's coming in on Martinez at this point after him missing weight, but it is what it is. Yeah, I think this is a really good fight. I think it's one of the actually better fights on these prelims, believe it or not. I think this fight's going to be fun. You know, both these guys are very exciting fighters. You have Cameron Saaiman, who's super young, 22 years old. And what I like about Saaiman the most is, you know, the volume that he brings, the pace that he brings. He wants to break you, and he does break you. You know, multiple finishes throughout his career, has won every single fight inside the distance outside of one. And then you got Mana Martinez, who has a ton of power. Like Mana Martinez has like 4 knockdowns in only like 3 UFC fights. So he has a ton of power. What I like here, and I'm kind of going against the grain a little bit, I like the fight doesn't go. And the reason being is I think these guys are just going to stand and bang for 3 rounds. Both these guys have power. I think Mana is the more powerful striker here, but it's going to be Saaiman who's going to bring the volume and can break you. And, you know, I like the violence even before the Mana weight miss, but I like it even more now. I see this being, you know, I don't want to say Mana early or Saaiman late because Mana's power carries late. Like he got multiple knockdowns in the second round of the Davis fight. He got multiple knockdowns in the third round of the Ronnie Lawrence fight. So I think both these guys have power and power in all 3 rounds, really. So the pick for me is going to be Cameron Saaiman. I think he does probably break Mana Martinez here, but Mana is going to be live to land a big shot at any point in this fight. Both guys have power. Both guys have very questionable striking defense. I mean, Mana Martinez, I think on paper, it's like maybe 49%. Yeah, 49%, and Cameron Saaiman's pretty hittable in his own right. So I think somebody goes down here. Somebody goes down by knockout as well. So I took the fight doesn't go to decision, 1 unit on it, minus 138. That line is still there. I know the over is a very popular play because both of Saaiman's wins in the UFC and Contender Series, they did come over that 2.5 round mark. So yeah, I could see like a late finish for Saaiman, but ultimately I do think this fight does finish at some point in this fight. Does it finish late? Potentially, I actually think it does finish late, but I could also see it finishing early as well. So give me some violence on this fight. Yeah, the pick Saaiman by knockout. I think he does knock out Mana Martinez at some point here. From a DraftKings perspective, I think this is a really good fight to target. You got Saaiman 8,800. I mean, the guy put up like almost 120 or something like in his last fight against Steven Kozlow. So, I mean, he has crazy volume. He has that power, that finishing ability. I like Saaiman at 8,800. And then Mana Martinez, as far as a dog goes, I mean, as far as a puncher's chance goes, he absolutely has one. Mana Martinez has a ton of power in his hands. So I don't mind either side there on DraftKings. But the bet for me is going to be that fight doesn't go 1 unit, minus 138 there. Lots of people are betting the baby shark, and yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, I don't blame him betting her at like minus 170, minus 180 earlier in the week, but now minus 300, I can't get there. We got Brian in the chat saying, what's up, Brady? Been rocking with you for a while from Oregon. What is up? Appreciate you, Brian. Now the good fights start. Yes, absolutely. Gundy saying, are units 100 or 1,000? I wish they were 1,000, man. They're 100 at the moment. You could tell as soon as he walked in, he missed weight. Yeah, I could tell as well. He did not look too happy. The Krause Penitentiary money. There you go. Martinez is low volume and missed weight, liking Cameron. Yeah, Cameron should get it done. but I don't want to completely count out Mon just because he has a ton of power. Fight to end in KO on FanDuel is plus 110. Yeah, I was looking at that myself. But Cameron Saaiman sub wouldn't completely shock me. Martinez has been subbed before by Draco Rodriguez. It was on the first round of the Contender Series, and Saaiman seems to have some grappling. Saaiman does have a submission on his record as well, but I would definitely lean towards it being KO. Brady, are you still going to this live? Yes, sir. I'm leaving tomorrow morning at the flight's at 5 a.m. It's gonna suck, but I'm staying up in Cleveland tonight at a friend's house, so I don't have to drive a couple hours to Cleveland. So heading up there tonight. And Scott saying, I like your cut. Geez, appreciate you, Scott. All right, let's move on. We have Ian, Machado, Garry going against Song Kenan. We got Garry as the biggest, third biggest favorite on the card. So Garry opened up minus 300 for some reason, and he's currently minus 800. And then Song Kenan opened up at plus 310, and he is currently plus 550. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick against Garry in this matchup. Garry's going to be better everywhere by a mile, honestly. Song Kenan to win this fight, it's going to have to be by knockout, and I don't want to completely count the guy out, but I mean, Garry's just so much younger. He's so much faster, so much higher volume, the much better striker. And if Garry wants to in this matchup, he just takes down Song Kenan. Garry has shown really solid wrestling and grappling, especially outside the UFC. He hasn't really shown that yet in the UFC, but it wouldn't shock me if Garry came in here and took the fight down to the mat a little bit in this matchup. But yeah, I mean, this should be Garry, everywhere the fight goes. Song Kenan, he has power, like I said, but you take a look at his wins, Alan Potter, Derek Krantz, Hector Aldana, Bobby Nash. Just none of those wins really impressed me. He got knocked out by Max Griffin in 2 minutes and 20 seconds his last time out, which is not a good look. And that last time out was back in March of 2021, so a very long time ago. So yeah, it's hard to pick Song Kenan here. If you do like Song, you probably bet him my knockout, but I don't see it personally. I do have Garry as a parlay piece. I got him at a little bit better as of a price tag, not much better, but I'll talk about my parlays at the end. I have 2 parlays, but Garry is going to be a parlay piece for me this week. I just really struggle to see where Song Kenan wins this fight outside of landing a Hail Mary knockout shot here. So give me Ian Garry. Don't mind him as a parlay piece this week. There's a lot of parlay pieces on this card. He's one I feel pretty safe about even at these odds, but there's still some books that have it at minus 675, minus 700. So yeah, I think Garry gets it done. From a DraftKings perspective, 9,300, I have some Garry here, just because I think he's going to be a lot lower owned than Bo Nickel, a lot lower owned than, say, Shavkat, a lot lower owned than Valentina. So I think Garry might go a little bit, I think he might go a little bit under owned here on DraftKings, and I think he has knockout upside, and he could knock this guy out in the first round. So I do have some Garry. Obviously, I do like Shavkat, Nickel, and Valentina more, but I do have some Garry because he's going to be a lot lower owned than those other 3 fighters. And then as far as Song Kenan, I do have some sprinkle just because 6,900, if he does win it, it is going to be by knockout. And Ian Garry does have some questionable strike and defense, but I fully expect Garry to go in there and get the dub tomorrow. Garry is too hittable and has herpes. Cannot argue either of those statements. Gane and Jones over 1.5 and Bo Nickel by sub, KO parlay, lock. Nothing is a lock in MMA, but I think that hits. Time to make some easy money tomorrow, hopefully. I hope so. UFC is setting up Garry for a win, fighting a guy that hasn't fought in 2 years and got KO'd in 2 minutes last time out. And not only did he get KO'd in 2 minutes, but he got KO'd in 2 minutes by 1 to Max Griffin. Not good. Song Kenan and Turner parlay is a lock. I'm selling my kidneys and putting it all on that. My goodness. Garry to get 1 takedown at plus 235 on DraftKings. I'd like him to wrestle here. I would like that. I don't hate that line. Ian KO, TKO, I will go with that. Yeah, that's kind of what I would look at. Either him as a parlay piece or that KO, which is minus 135. Garry for 1 takedown at plus 235 is fire. Yeah, doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like if he wants to, he could take this guy down to the mat, no problem. Don't sleep on the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yes, sir. We'll talk about him very soon. I like Valentina on DK. I think she breaks the slate and puts up a huge score like 130. I think she absolutely could. And we got MMA Jesus in the chat. What is up? How you doing? All right, we'll keep moving on. We have a lot of fights to talk about. We have Marc-Andre Barriault going against Julian Marquez. This line has moved a tad. The line movement came earlier in the week. So Marc-Andre Barriault opened up around, I think he opened up as a dog, if I'm not mistaken. But now he's minus 142. And then Marquez is now sitting at around plus 122 to plus 125 around there. So slight favorite, Marc-Andre Barriault, one of the closest line fights on the entire card. And not too confident in a winner here per se, but a bet that I do like is going to be the over 1.5 rounds. So this line, these non-violence line, I mean, they puzzle me a little bit, and I'm all for the violence, you know me, but these are two guys who they're known for their durability. Yes, Marc-Andre Barriault got knocked out by Chidi and Jaquani. That's, Chidi and Jaquani hits like a truck. Julian Marquez got knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. He hits like a truck. Other than that, they've never been knocked out. So, and typically these guys show a ton of durability. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be sweaty for sure, but I like the over 1.5 rounds here. So I did get it earlier in the week though, and this line has moved quite a bit. So I got 1 unit on it at minus 138, and I cannot believe that line, to be honest. And it is now around like minus 175. So I have 1 unit on that. I would have went heavier on it, but I hate overs. And this is going to be my second over of the year. And I'm 0-1 thus far. Thank you, Lena Landsberg. So I'm hoping to even it out here, 1-1 on these overs. And I think even like the 2.5 is live. I think the over 2.5 is live and the fight goes to decision. Like, I'm not sure why these violence lines are so juiced. Like, the fight doesn't go to decision line, opened up minus 425 on 5 dimes. I'm not sure what's going on here. Could this fight finish? I suppose, but like I said, I'm relying on both these guys and their durability. So in terms of a winner, I like Marc-Andre Barriault just ever so slightly, just because I think he's going to have more volume. I think he's more defensively sound. Whereas Marquez, if he does win this fight, it's going to have to be some type of finish. And Marc-Andre Barriault, like I said, he's typically very durable. Julian Marquez in the UFC, he actually has no knockouts. All his finished wins have came by submission. So I think it had to be like a club and sub type situation for Marquez. And I just don't know if I really see that happening. I actually think this fight goes to distance, and I think it's probably competitive, whereas you got Marc-Andre Barriault probably landing the more volume, and then you got Julian Marquez going out there and landing, probably the harder shots here. But yeah, I like the over 1.5 first and foremost. I don't have the balls to go out there and bet a fight goes to decision in this fight, just because they're going to stand and bang. It's simple as that. It's just I'm relying on these guys and their durability. But over 1.5 is the play for me. 1 unit minus 138. And I don't mind. I was very close to taking a shot on that fight goes in that over 2.5, but can't do it because I'll be there live watching, and I probably won't be able to watch. I'll be closing my eyes because these guys are going to stand and trade, but going to rely on that durability there. From a Draftkings perspective, not in love with the fight, but Marc-Andre Barriault brings some high volume. If he wrestles here, I think that would be very wise of him to do so. We saw Maki Patola go out there and wrestle Julian Marquez for 2.5 rounds. But yeah, I think this fight primarily does play out on the feet, and I think Barriault probably does get it done by decision, but not in love with the fight from a Draftkings perspective. Marquez will gas out. Yeah, maybe like down the stretch he could. I think that Barriault has the better cardio. Jesus disagreeing, saying the under 2.5. You changed your stance on the Ribas fight. Was there any other fights you changed your mind on? Why would you say that? I didn't change my stance on it. It's been VIviane all week. What are you talking about? For me, it is $100, but a unit is 1% of your bankroll, so it's different for everybody. Definitely a finish here, Brady. Maybe like a late finish. Julian Marquez first round KO. He's not KO'd anybody in the UFC. Marc-Andre needs this win to keep his job. I think both guys do. Marquez is crazy. Yes, sir, he is. I got Julian Marquez, more skills, more well-rounded. I completely disagree. I don't think he has any skills, to be honest. He's more dangerous, but in terms of skills, it's probably Barriault. Like, I don't know what Marquez is good at outside of just being a big guy that hits hard. I don't know. I guess he has a good submission game. Overs are the wave. You're crazy for not playing more. No, sir, not my style. It's unders all day for me. You guys can play the overs. You guys can have those. I got Marquez. Fade on DK. I don't love the fight on DK. Marquez first round sub. You guys aren't liking my over 1.5. I thought you said her old ass was gonna get beat. What are you talking about? You must be talking about someone else, dude. I've never. Ribas is not whipping anybody's ass, man. Anyway, all good, all good. I don't know where the confusion came from, but sorry if I confused you. Not by skills, but lucky punch, and yeah, that could happen, man. The guy hits hard, that is for sure. He went out there and hurt Sam Alvey. And that's about it. He hurt Sam Alvey. He knocked Sam Alvey down, so we'll see. But yeah, I like the over, and that's about it on this fight. All right. Next, we got Amanda Ribas going against VIviane Araujo. I did take the half unit shot on VIviane Araujo here at plus 102. And let me see what this line's at. It's actually like plus 10. It's like same thing, like plus 100. I see a plus 107. Yeah, interesting line here. Like, I kind of disagree. I know VIviane is going to be the older fighter here in this matchup, but stylistically, I think it's kind of a tough matchup for Ribas just because on the feet, it's not even close in terms of the striking, in my opinion. VIviane Araujo is going to be the better striker, at least early. And then in terms of the ground game, Ribas is a great grappler, as is Araujo. Both are black belts, but Araujo has incredible takedown defense. I think it's like 90%. VIviane Araujo is the more natural flyweight, whereas Ribas, she's fought at 115 for a lot of her career. So I just struggle to see Ribas taking this fight down to the mat. And when it's on the feet, I favor VIviane Araujo. The reason I'm only going so small here is because VIviane Araujo has slowed down in the past. I think she has improved her gas tank a little bit, but she does slow down. So I see VIviane at least winning these first 2 rounds, though. I think the third could definitely get sketchy, and Ribas probably does even win the third. It's just I think it's a bad matchup for Ribas here, as long as VIviane Araujo is fresh. So I like Araujo here for the upset. Not sure why people are betting Ribas outside of her being the better looking fighter, because that's really all. And maybe the younger fighter, she's better looking, she's younger, she has better cardio, but I think Araujo has the takedown defense to keep it up and the strike and outstrike her. So I like VIviane here, half unit shot plus 102. From a Draftkings perspective, not touching Ribas. I think if she wins this fight, it's like a greasy split decision robbery type win that doesn't score anything. As far as Vivi, I don't hate her just because she's a dog and she does have some probably wrestling upside and even like finish upside as well. We've seen Ribas, knocked out before multiple times. I think she's been knocked out twice. So a VIviane finish wouldn't completely shock me. So I do like VIviane a little bit for DraftKings, but I do have a half unit shot on her as an underdog there. I got Araujo. Women's MMA don't bet. I'm actually 1-0 in terms of women's MMA bet. Shout out to Luma Lukebunmi this year. So I'm hoping to go 2-0 after VIviane cashes this dog ticket. He can't be Sneerius saying good afternoon to you as well. You Capper Sports saying DFS, I'm sort of a new follower. Just saw your post on Twitter. Congrats on the weight loss, man. And that is amazing. Appreciate you Capper. Yeah, it took a lot of hard work, but got through it. Ribas has been exposed bad on the feet. Yep. I don't think the striking is that close. I mean, like I said, especially early. Sure, when VIviane slows down, Ribas can probably make it competitive, but it's a 3-round fight. Ribas just doesn't have the chin for Araujo. Yeah, I don't hate that. Fight doesn't go to decision all day. The fight goes to decisions, probably juice, though. It's like minus 250, minus 210. I don't hate it, but Ribas' durability would concern me just a tad. Hello, same thoughts. People betting Ribas for her looks. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with. I mean, it could be a close fight, but man, I don't know. Seems like a tough matchup. Fade Cody, no chin, Garbrandt on a DK. We will talk about that fight very soon. Probably 29-28 Vivi decision. That's how I see it as well. Didn't know VIviane was 36 years old. Yes, yikes. Yeah, she is definitely getting up there in age. That is for sure. VIviane slows down. Ribas will look good in the second half of the fight, and I agree. Brady, I'll see you looking skinny like Jalen Turner. Yeah, me and Jalen Turner are both the same height, actually. But there is no way I would make lightweight. I don't know how Jalen Turner does it. Like I would barely make middleweight. Brady, I just got my ticket to UFC KC. When's that? Is that in March? Is that what card is that? It's not next week. It might be the week after. Is that right? Araujo KO decision. I like it. And I totally agree. All right. We shall keep moving on. We got the good stuff. Now, this is where it gets real good. It already got good. Already got real good. Oh, I got you. Who's the main event in that? All right. And then you got Cod saying the draw. Okay, 66-1. There you go. Okay. And hey, it could happen. But Dricus du Plessis going against Derek Brunson. And I do have a bet here. And the bet I have is the fight doesn't go to decision. I got it at minus 190. I should have probably went a little bit heavier on it, but I think Dricus knocks him out here at some point. Derek Brunson, he's 39 years old. He has that terrible blonde hair that I'm not a big fan of. The durability has always been in question, but especially now at this age, the durability is seriously in question, and you do not want to question your durability against a guy in Dricus du Plessis who is just dangerous everywhere. He's dangerous everywhere from start to finish. He's dangerous at any second of the fight, no matter how tired he gets, because he does get tired. But Dricus has power on the feet. On the feet, it's Brunson is not going to want to strike with this guy. If I think Brunson's going to shoot a takedown within the first minute of this fight, I'd be shocked if he didn't. If he doesn't, he's probably getting knocked out. Brunson's chin cannot hold up at this age, especially against a guy like Dricus who hits like a truck. But I do see a scenario, though, where, Brunson is maybe even able to take down Dricus here. I could see Brunson even winning a round in this fight. It's just at some point, Dricus is probably going to land something. I think for Brunson to win this fight, he's just going to go out there and he's going to have to fight 15 minutes perfect. Make no mistakes. You can't have one slip up against this guy. And I don't know if he can do it at 39 years old. So I had a pretty decent-sized bet on Jared Cannonier his last time out against Derek Brunson. And Brunson looks really solid in that first round. He was able to take down Cannonier a couple times, but even dropped Cannonier at the end of the first round. But that second round started, and I don't know what it was, but Brunson just looked off. He looked tired at the start of that second round. And Dricus gets tired for sure. Like he's tired at the end of the first, but Dricus catches a second wind in every single fight, it seems like. If Brunson slows down and gasses out against Dricus du Plessis, it's going to be a problem. So I like Dricus here. I like Dricus. Probably he can knock him out, I think, in any round, but I'm kind of leaning second round Dricus. I think Brunson may even win the first, but I think Dricus catches him at some point in this fight with a big shot and gives Brunson his seventh knockout loss. But the bet for me is going to be that fight doesn't go 2 units, minus 190, because du Plessis has been finishing both his losses, both in the third round, once by knockout, once by sub. So, maybe Brunson is able to get his wrestling going. Maybe Brunson is able to find something on the mat, a sub, a TKO. But I think the most likely scenario is that Dricus knockout. From a DraftKings perspective, I like both sides here, especially Dricus, though. It's at 8,700. I love the price tag for Dricus. I think he has finish upside in every single round here. And 8,700, I don't mind that. On the flip side, Brunson, nobody's going to have Brunson this week. If Brunson's able to win this fight and pull it off, you're going to get takedowns. You're going to get control time. You're probably going to get a finish as well on the Brunson side, and nobody's going to have him. So I like both sides on the DraftKings, but most of my action is going to be on du Plessis here at 8,700. So on DraftKings, I think it's a great fight to target overall. And from a betting perspective, I like violence here. The fight doesn't go to decision. Even don't mind that under 2.5 as well. Should be a phenomenal fight. It feels like this fight shouldn't be on the prelims, but it is. That just shows you how stacked this main card is. Does Brunson get to halt one more prospect before he rides off into the sunset? No, he won't. Dricus KO sub. Yes, that's how I feel. The salary bracket, that is the salaries from DraftKings. DraftKings is a daily fantasy sport game. We got Blood Money in the chat. Great show, Brady. What's up, everyone? What is up, Blood Money? How you doing? Sean, pretty confident in a Dricus by finish. Yeah, I think I am as well. Brunson was 5-0 before his last fight. That is true, but let us take a look at those wins. So Brunson was 5-0 in his last 5 fights, but those wins came against Darren Till, who's cut, Kevin Holland, who has some of the worst fight IQ I've ever seen in my life, Edmund Shabazian, who has no cardio, Ian Heinisch, and then Elias Theodorou. So, I mean, those 5 wins, not great. I don't know if he gets past Dricus here at 39 years old. Staying away from this fight. Nothing wrong with staying away from a fight. Fight doesn't go to decision. Brunson, Plessis, probably by KO right there with you. Dricus, KO or sub. Brunson will be getting cut soon. I don't think he'll get cut, but I think he will be retiring soon. Dricus' cardio is fine. He looks like he's huffing and puffing because he doesn't breathe through his nose. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's fine. He can definitely fight through it. Do you like DK Captain single entry? Not really. I play it here and there. I won't be playing it on Saturday because I'll be in Vegas. Is Brunson still retiring? He may after this fight. We'll have to see. He was talking about it a couple fights ago. Got Propaholic in the chat. What is up, Propaholic? How you doing? What time do you usually go to the event? First fight or after the first few fights have happened? I will be there watching the prelim opener of Ribovics and Radzhabov. I'll be there for the first fight. Brady, I tried telling the world on your show about Sakai last week. Yes, you did. You did. I wasn't as confident, but I did have Sakai and a lot of parlays. So shout out to Sakai for getting it done. Apparently, Dontel Mays is not Sergey Spivak. Shocking. Brunson wins good enough to stop me from loading up on DDP, or Brunson's wins are good enough to stop me from loading up on DDP. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't load up on DDP, but I think he wins. All right, let us keep moving on. We have Cody Garbrandt going against Trevin Jones, and this is easily the most frustrating fight on the card for me by a mile because you have Cody Garbrandt, who's the better fighter by a mile. It's not even close. I don't think Trevin Jones is that good at all. Cody Garbrandt is going to be the much better striker. It's not even close. The faster fighter, more volume. Trevin Jones doesn't throw anything at all, but when he does throw, he hits hard, and that's the big dilemma here. Like, is Cody Garbrandt's chin going to hold up when Trevin Jones lands a couple shots? Because that's the only thing he's going to land is a couple, because Trevin Jones doesn't do anything in the fight. But yeah, Trevin Jones, it's weird with Trevin Jones. Like, Trevin Jones is like getting compared to like some murderous power puncher, but you take a look at Trevin Jones, and outside the UFC, I want to say he only had maybe 1 or 2 knockout wins. Like, I'm looking through his record now. I'm seeing like 1 knockout win in the 3rd round against Jae Hung So, and that's it. So I'm not sure where this power came from Trevin Jones, but now all of a sudden he's a very hard hitter, and he showed that off in the Valia fight, knocking him out, and then he knocked out Mario Batista. So now all of a sudden, since coming to the UFC, he has a ton of power. So although I want to be very confident in Cody, you can't. You can't be confident in Cody against anybody, really, but especially against somebody in Trevin Jones who has shown that power. The pick for me has got to be Cody Garbrandt. I think he's much better. I think he's the minute winner on the feet by a mile. I think he's the minute winner on the ground. I think Cody can take down Trevin Jones and control him here. I think Cody has the better cardio as well. I think Cody's better in every single aspect of MMA outside of probably pure jiu-jitsu and then durability. One of these guys is durable in Trevin Jones. Trevin Jones has a lot of fights. I think he has like 20-some fights. 21. Never been knocked out. Cody Garbrandt is not durable. Cody Garbrandt, 5 losses, 4 of which coming by knockout. So although I want to load up on Cody Garbrandt, it's not responsible to do so. A bet that I really do like here, and I was waiting for this line all week, and then DraftKings and BetRivers, they opened it up at -125. And that is the Cody Garbrandt decision only. This is the opposite of the finish only. This means that if there's a finish in this fight, the bet is voided. So if Trevin Jones knocks out Cody Garbrandt, the bet's voided. But I just think that Cody Garbrandt, if this fight goes to decision, which I'm actually picking it to. I think that Cody Garbrandt's going to win 30-27 just because Trevin Jones doesn't do anything in the fight. So I like that decision only. I think that's a great way to play Cody because it takes out the risk of him getting knocked out, which that's what everybody's worried about. So I was like, what's a responsible amount to put on this bet? And I put 2 units on it. So I have 2 units on the Cody Garbrandt decision only, -125. That line is actually still there on Bet Rivers and Barstool. And it just makes no sense to me. I think it should be -300 just because Trevin Jones isn't winning minutes in the UFC. So give me Cody Garbrandt here to get it done. And I know people are taking some shots on the Cody Garbrandt by decision +500. I don't have the balls to do that myself, but I think that is a solid chance of hitting. I think Cody's going to be very tentative in this fight. I think he's going to fight very smart because you got it. You're not going to want to go out there and stand and trade with this guy. You're going to want to go in there, maybe mix in takedowns, use your footwork, your speed, and try to win minutes here. I don't think he's going to go in there and go to war with Trevin Jones like a lot of people think. Going to war with Trevin Jones is just like the opposite of what you should do in this matchup, Cody Garbrandt. So give me Cody Garbrandt actually by decision. Taking him by decision here, and I do have a 2-unit bet on that decision only. From a DraftKings perspective, don't love Cody at 8,500 because I don't see him stopping Trevin Jones in this matchup. Like I said, Trevin Jones never been knocked out. If anything on DraftKings, honestly, it's probably Trevin Jones because if Trevin Jones wins, it is going to be by knockout for a fact. Like if Trevin Jones wins this fight, it's because he knocked out Cody Garbrandt. So I'm more interested in Trevin Jones from a DraftKings perspective, but Cody should get this done as long as his chin holds up, which at this point, it's hard to be confident in that. Only two ways this end: Cody by decision or Jones KO, and that is exactly how I see it. Fight doesn't go to decision is the best bet of the DDP fight, and yep, I'm definitely on that. Cody by decision, a lot more hesitant, and leg kicks will pay dividends, and yeah, I think the wrestling as well. Cody no love all day, would not say all day. It should be all day. It should be all day, but I mean, it's hard to trust him. Jones is in the business of catching people. Yes, that he is. And catching people is a big dog as well. He's like +400 or something in the Valiev fight. Jones KO round 1 is 7.5. Yeah, if you like Jones, you got to play the KO. Would Cody no decision void your whole parlay? I would not play the no decision. You mean the no finish? No, it would just fade. It would avoid that leg. That leg specifically. Jones is a bump in a long. You mean log? Jones' chin's insane. Never been knocked out pro and amateur. Yeah, the guy's tough. Super tough. Definitely the tougher matchup in this fight. Yeah, he has not been a champion in a long time. A lot has changed since then. No bet for me, but Jones finish only is very intriguing, but that 40% strike and defense is holding me back. Yeah, that's not a bad way to play Jones. Did you lose weight? Yes, sir, a lot. Did anyone weigh in heavyweight backup spot? Yeah, Sergey Pavlovich did. Cody 2 takedowns +600. I think he should wrestle here. I think he absolutely should. Cody has a glass jaw. That is true. Taking a shot on Jones. Yeah, if you like Jones, take that KO. Trevin Jones, 7,700 on DK. That has the highest optimal rate of any salary. Interesting. Very interesting. Funny you say that, Jack, because that's something I've been debating all week. I don't know if I could do it, though. I mean, because that could lose at any second, and then that could lose brutally. But, yeah, I think all the values on that over. And I think it would all depend in terms of how many underdogs win. I think there's so many big favorites. So I'm not sure how many underdogs are going to come through. But if he gets a second round KO, he could potentially. Third round, though, after throwing nothing, maybe not. Cody should win. I agree. He should. Can't ever trust Cody's chin again, and I get it. All right. Everyone is betting against Duplessis because of the fight. Duplessis got tired of beating Until. I don't really see anybody betting against Duplessis. He's a pretty big favorite. Haven't really seen much people on Brunson this week. Basharat looked rough. I'll have to go back and check. I didn't really notice anything, but I wasn't really looking at Basharat because I don't have any action on that fight. Was initially looking at Trevin Jones by decision. That's very interesting. it's hard to win a decision if you don't if you don't do anything. But hey, you never know. All right. Let us move on to the main card. We have 5 fights left. Before we do so, if you guys can please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, trying to reach 10K or 20K subs in the very near future. Do appreciate all the support week in and week out. Thank you all for hanging out here on a Friday, a little earlier than usual, but we'll be doing best bet 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. We got a pretty fire cast. We got Lou Betcha. We got myself. We got Patrick, Addicted to Combat. And then we have Gordo Gambles. So we have the first place guy, the second place guy, and I think Gordo's in third or fourth. So it should be a very, very interesting show. Really looking forward to some best bet. All right. Main card opener. I'm really looking forward to this fight, man. We got Bo Nickal going against Jamie Pickett. Where do I start? I mean, Bo Nickal is a massive favorite here. Bo Nickal is sitting at minus 2,000, which is one of the biggest favorites in UFC history. I remember Alexander Romanov was around this price against Chase Sherman. I think it was like minus 1,600 though. So yeah, Bo Nickal just a massive favorite. And you know, it's hard to ever line somebody minus 2,000, minus 2,200 on FanDuel in a fight, but I can't argue the line here. I've seen one person all week make a case for one Jamie Pickett, one person and one person only, because it's hard to. It's very hard to make a case for Jamie Pickett. You know, I think he's the bottom of the barrel in the division. And you take a look at Pickett's wins, they're not good. Jamie Pickett has wins over guys like Joseph Holmes in a greasy fight, Loriana Staropoli in a greasy fight, and then that's it. I mean, those are his 2 UFC wins. And then you take a look at his losses, and they're even more concerning. Like Jordan Wright, the Beverly Hills Ninja, went out there and starched this guy in a minute 4. And then Dennis Tuoluen knocked this guy out. Kyle Dawkins subbed him in round 1. So it's just hard to make any type of case for Jamie Pickett here. I do have a bet here, and I'll just say the whole bet right now so the bet I have here, it is my second biggest play on the night. I parlayed the under 1.5 rounds here. Bo Nickal, Jamie Pickett, under 1.5, minus 270. And then I parlayed that with the Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso fight starts round 2, minus 360. That came out to minus 135, minus 133, and I have 2.5 units on it. So that means that I need Bo Nickal, Pickett to finish under 7.5 minutes, and the fight starts round 2. That means that the Shevchenko Grasso fight starts round 2. Like they fight in round 2. I don't know why, but that fight starts round 2 has been confusing to people this week, but it means like the fight starts round 2. So 2.5 units on that parlay. Yeah, I was honestly tempted on maybe max betting even that under 1.5 rounds. It's just really hard to see Jamie Pickett surviving here in any type of, like, if you're getting finished by Jordan Wright, Dennis Tuoluen, and Kyle Dawkins, I mean, I think Bo Nickal should go out here and finish you and finish you pretty early. Was also considering like the under a half a round, like the 60-second prop, but all those got smashed already. Like the Bo Nickal by sub prop has been smashed. Bo Nickal sub 1 has been smashed. All these Bo Nickal props, they are getting smashed as we speak, and rightfully so. It's just hard to give Jamie Pickett much of a chance in this fight. I'm not touching Jamie Pickett on DraftKings, but I will be touching a lot of Bo Nickal. It's hard to get to like a ton of Bo Nickal just because of the price tag is so crazy, and there's not a ton of dogs live this week, but I have a decent amount of Bo Nickal. I think he's still the most exposed fighter I have on the slate, but I didn't go like crazy on it because I couldn't. It's hard to make lineups with him at this price tag, but I do have a ton of Bo Nickal on DraftKings. I think it's a knockdown or a takedown, and then the fight is probably going to be over shortly after. The UFC is trying to build up Bo Nickal, and I think they're going to succeed in doing that on Saturday against Jamie Pickett. But I'm curious to see where Bo Nickal does go from here. But yeah, should roll through him and roll through him pretty easy. Dylan Eakins, what is up? What's up, Dylan? Nice seeing you in here. Bo Nickal rolls. Tough price on DK, though. Might need that 60-second bonus. And hey, that 60-second bonus could very well happen. Pickett by KO. For Pickett to KO Bo Nickal, he'd have to do something. and he doesn't do anything. So I don't know. I think if Pickett won this fight, I don't know. It had to be because Bo Nickel just completely gassed out. I don't know. It's hard to make a case for Jamie Pickett. Bo 2 takedowns and win by sub. The only thing that would scare me is I think it could be 1 takedown and done. Just because I don't know if Jamie Pickett gets backed up. What's up, Brady? Who's your favorite dog this week? That is VIviane Araujo. He's my favorite dog. Bo wins inside. So there's a prop on DraftKings. It's like Bo Nickel to win between like 60 seconds and like a minute 20. Not sure what those odds are, but that was something I was kind of considering as like a sprinkle. Bo needs to be humbled. Why? I mean, I think he'll be fine. He's not going to get humbled in this matchup. Jimmy Pickett's not humbling him, but maybe in the future he might get humbled, but not here. But if Jamie flatlines Bo, I would be shocked. I'd be shocked. If he does flatline, hopefully it's under 7.5 minutes, so I cash my under, but I would be shocked. How many people got to fight twice on the Contender Series, then get a seat at the press conference and a minus 2,000 for their first fight? Dana's a trip. Yep, this is the first time any of that's happened. Fight goes to decision. You're wild. You're wild. I'm not a big fan of Bo. I see PD. Neil submission. We'll talk about Neil soon. Would be funny. It would just be shocking. I don't know if it'd be funny. It'd just be shocking. Yeah, if Pickett survived round 1, I mean, that would be considered a win for Jamie Pickett. Like if he survives round 1, we should look into getting the commission to change the loss into a win for Jamie Pickett, because that would be a huge win, just surviving the first round. Brady is here for both season. Yep, Lou knows. Lou knows. Lou saying like the video if you're watching, please. Appreciate that, Lou. Can't wait to break down some best bet tonight after your show, which is going on in about 34 minutes. What? Bo can smoke Pickett with 2 limbs. Wouldn't typically agree to something like this, but yes. Yes. You think stacking the co-main event will make optimal? On this slate, it's hard with the 14-fight slate, but if Grasso's able to have some success, if she's able to go the full 25 and still lose the fight, and not a lot of dogs win, maybe. I think Bo has a good shot of beating Israel Adesanya if they fought tomorrow. Hey, maybe. I don't know. There's still so many unknowns with Bo, though. I mean, the dude's a beast, but there's still, like, what happens if he gets past a couple minutes of the fight? You know, there's those unknowns, but I don't think we're gonna find out either in this fight either. I think there's still gonna be a lot of unknowns on Bo going forward. Bo beats Adesanya and Pereira right now. I think he beats Pereira. Pereira does not have a great ground game. Did you see what Adesanya was doing to that guy, Pereira? See, I think Bo does probably finish Pereira on the mat in the first round. What happens if he gets punched in the face? I don't think we're going to find out tomorrow. I don't think he's getting punched in the face. I don't think Pickett lands 1 strike, to be honest, right? Like, because for 1, Pickett doesn't throw anything, and for 2, he's going to be on his back. And yeah, you don't want to make Bo Nickel mad. You do not want to make Bo Nickel mad. And yeah, I don't think he gasses either. And I don't think we're going to find out. I mean, I don't think this fight gets too extended to worry about gassing out. All right. That is true, but we're not going to find that out tomorrow. It's a gimme spot here for Bo Nickel. But it should be fun. I'm a big Bo Nickel fan. You know, I went to Penn State myself, so rooting for him to get it done and hopefully cash in under 1.5. So yeah, I have the under 1.5 parlayed with the fight starts round 2 in the Shevchenko-Grasso fight. As far as the Shevchenko starts round 2, we'll talk more about that match in a little bit, but Shevchenko 0 finishes in the first round in the UFC. So I like that. All right, Mateus Garbrandt going against Jalen Turner. Great fight here. Really great fight here. Probably my second, might even be my first favorite fight on the card, this fight. Mateus Garbrandt, Jalen Turner. Big fan of both guys. I think this fight is a must target on DraftKings, you know, because this is how the fight's going to play out. One of 2 ways. Either Mateus Garbrandt goes out there and shows that Jalen Turner has made no improvements in his ground game since like that Frivola fight, right? And if Gamrot's able to get on top, Gamrot's dangerous. I mean, Gamrot has solid ground and pound, but mostly that submission game as well. I think a Gamrot finish could very much be on the table here. Jalen Turner, a killer be killed fighter, 18 fights, 16 of those ending inside the distance. So I could see a Gamrot finish here. I could see a Gamrot 15-minute decision where he's just consistently taking down Jalen Turner. And if Jalen Turner wins, it's a knockout. I mean, the guy has a ton of power. He's going to be much bigger here. Or it could be like a club and sub as well. But I think somebody does get finished here in this matchup. So I was able to shout out to Propaholic. He was in the chat for the show on Monday, and he pointed out that BetOnline dropped the fight doesn't go at -135, which is awesome because I was thinking violence anyway, but I was able to hop on that for 1.5 units. It's still like around -175, but yeah, I like violence here just because Jalen Turner is a killer be killed fighter who has been finished 3 times by knockout and obviously has that 100% finish rate. So I like to finish here one way or another. The pick is Gamrot, and hot take, I actually think Gamrot finishes Jalen Turner here by submission, but you can't completely count out Jalen Turner. I mean, the guy's super dangerous. Gamrot's coming in here on short notice. I don't want to completely count out Turner in this matchup. He's 27 years old. He's talking about how he's made a lot of improvements over the past couple of years in terms of the grappling, in terms of the wrestling, and we're going to find that out very soon. But my pick is got to be Gamrot here. I hate the line, though. Like, Gamrot, his line got completely smashed like last week. He was sitting up at like -170, and it got completely smashed. He's now like -210, -225. So I don't love that. Like, even at -170, I didn't love the Gamrot money line. But I'm still going to pick him to win. From a Draftkings perspective, I think it's a must target. I think Gamrot has takedown finish upside, and I think Turner has a lot of finish upside as well. And at these price tags, it's a fight that really, really hard to get away from. So I love this fight from a Draftkings perspective. I have 1.5 unit bet on this fight doesn't go. Was able to beat some good line movement there, but the pick is going to be Gamrot, and I think he subs Jalen Turner. Hot take. Yeah, a lot of people on Turner this week, and that line's not budging. Line's not budging. Love Turner here. Jalen got a decent shot for a sub from the bottom, if not a KO. I would lean more towards KO. I mean, Gamrot's grappling is incredible. I am betting the Jamie Pickett money line. I think there's better fights, better spots on the card. I think Turner's going to get it done. I think it's probably the best fight, honestly. Turner's a lock. There are no locks in MMA, especially in underdog and Jalen Turner. Even like Bo Nickel's not a lock, right? Like Bo Nickel could go out there and I don't know. He's not. Okay, Bo Nickel's a lock. That's the only exception ever. That's the only time you'll hear me say that. Gamrot over 1.5. I wouldn't, because I think you're probably laying chalk on that. Yeah, you're laying like -167 on 2 very dangerous guys. I wouldn't, but I could see it maybe going over. Gamrot grappling clinic, yeah. Tarantula win by sub in 3rd round. We'll try this value bet. Yeah, 3rd round. Turner all day, every day. Turner gets better every fight. Yes, sir, he does. Gamrot winning over 1.5. I mean, I think he could. I mean, he's had some early finishes. Gamrot. He finished Jeremy Stevens earlier. I'd lean towards over 1.5 myself, but I don't know if I play that. Turner, a future champ. I don't know about that, man. I mean, what would Islam Makhachev do to Jalen Turner? I do not know about that. Jalen Turner dub. Turner is the internet's favorite dog. Yeah, I'd say it's close between maybe Gane and Turner, but it's Turner by a mile. You're 72-19, the last 17 cards in locks. If your locks don't lose, though, so what are those 19 losses? If you're going to say something's in a lock, you better not lose any of those. So I don't get that. Nothing's a lock in MMA. Throwing away some money, aren't you? I hope not. Hope I'm not throwing away no money. The only guy Gamrot has held it down completely is Jeremy Stevens, but I think you're underrating Gamrot just a little bit. Like, look at who he's fought his last couple fights. Dariush, Sarukian, Ferreira. Those are legit guys. So we'll see. I know a lot of people like Jalen Turner. I get it. He's awesome. He's won me a ton of money over the last couple fights, but This is Mateus Garbrandt. He's super good. Super good. And yes, he is. It's all rigged. There's definitely locks. I got you. I got you. Big Hotel, what is up? Big Hotel, thank you for the dono, $2. Appreciate you a ton. Does mean a lot. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. Man, anyway. Shavkat Rakhmonov going against Jeff Neal. This is the big one. This is the big one. We have Jeff Neal. Nothing's a lock in MMA. We have Jeff Neal missing weight by 1,000,000 pounds today. He looked uninterested, like he didn't want to be there. And that's concerning. Like Jeff Neal's a type of guy that strikes me as like a confidence guy, right? Like when Jeff Neal's on, his confidence is up. Like he's on. He looks incredible. When Jeff Neal's off and that confidence isn't there, he looks bad. He looks bad. Like in some of these fights, he just looks like in the Ponzinibbio fight, he looked awful. The Thompson fight, he looked awful. And then he goes out there against Vicente Luque his last time out and looks career best out of nowhere, being the first guy to knock out Vicente Luque. So what that showed me, I don't know if there's like an injury for Neal. I don't know if it was like I don't know. I don't know what was going on with Neal, but him missing weight, it brings up some serious red flags to me. So what I did, I have a bet here and a pretty big bet. I know everybody likes the over, like the over 1.5 is a very popular play this week. I like violence here, and I liked it a lot before the Neal weight miss fiasco. So I got 1.5 units on the fight doesn't go to decision at -190. I bet that on Wednesday night, I think. And then after the Neal weight miss, I went to go add more. And most books had like the fight doesn't go to like -300. I saw like a -400, a 260. But Draftkings was still hanging a -200. I'm not sure if it's still there, but I added another 2 units onto that. So this is my biggest bet of the night. I have 3.5 units on the fight doesn't go to decision, 1.5 on the -190, and then another 2 at -200 on Draftkings. So I'm pretty big on violence here. The weight miss of Jeff Neal makes it a lot better. But, I mean, Shavkat has never been the distance. 16 fights. So the overs, could this go over? I suppose, but laying like -160 for this fight to go over, I don't know about that because both these guys are dangerous. Like Jeff Neal knocked out Vicente Luque. If you can knock out Vicente Luque, you can probably knock out a bear. I mean, Vicente Luque's chin is incredible. The first time Vicente Luque has ever been knocked out. So if it turns out Marquez is not able to get the fight down to the mat, why couldn't Neal knock out Rakhmonov? On the flip side, Rakhmonov's live for a knockout. Rakhmonov has knockout power. Rakhmonov has a very good submission game, and we saw Neil Magny take down Jeff Neal multiple times. And what's going to happen if Rakhmonov gets on top of Jeff Neal and Neal's not able to get back up? He's probably going to sub him. So, yeah, I'm more so leaning. At first, I was like, yeah, Jeff Neal might have a chance here, but after the weigh-ins, I think Rakhmonov probably runs right through this guy and does it early as well. So I like Rakhmonov here, especially after the weight miss. And I'm not sure what happened with Jeff Neal. And I'm glad the fight's still on, but I'm not sure what happened. Like, that's a big weight miss. Came in at like 175. Like, that's a big, big, giant weight, especially for like a fight like this on a John Jones pay-per-view. One of the biggest fights of Jeff Neal's career, probably second biggest fight behind the Thompson main event. Just odd to me. But yeah, give me Shavkat. I'll say first round sub, but I like the fight doesn't go to decision. I have 3.5 units on some violence here. Did anyone miss weight? Yes, Mana Martinez did, and then also Shavkat Rakhmonov. Yeah, I think Garbrandt finishes him. Hill gets finished under 2.5. Shavkat by decision. Yeah, that would be his first decision win ever. Shavkat by plenty more potentially. Saying lock here on some Shavkat. 16 wins. Yeah, that's what I like about Shavkat. Like, half his wins are by sub, half his wins are by knockout. You could do either or. And Neal has been knocked out before, and Neal has been sub before. Yep, don't hate that bet, Cameron. I think it hits. Luque has horrible striking defense. No, I mean, I think Shavkat wins this fight. I'm not saying Jeff Neal wins this fight, but I was just saying knocking out Luque in general was very impressive to me because nobody knocks out Vicente Luque. Neil missed weight by like 5 pounds. Brady, do you think Neil missed weight on purpose to try to minimize Shavkat's size advantage? Could this low-key favor Neil? I wouldn't think he did that. I wouldn't think that, but you never know. And he's still going to be super. Like, did you guys see them at the press conference last night? Shavkat's much bigger than Jeff Neal. Much bigger. I think it's the first round. I think it could be any round. It could be first, second, third, whatever he wants. But I think it's the first. What is, in your opinion, is the biggest upset of the UFC 285? If any of these dogs pulled off it, it's going to be a big upset because we have a ton of big favorites. I like Araujo for the small upset, and then I don't mind Esteban Ribovics to maybe go out there and pull off a pretty big upset. I think Martinez is live just because of the power. Julian Marquez is live. He's a dog. Trevin Jones, of course, is live against Cody Garbrandt. There's a couple live dogs, but I think most of these favorites are going to roll. Yeah, I mean, he can try to minimize it all he wants, but Shavkat's still going to be much. No, Pickett's not winning. Much. Yeah, Jalen Turner could. Much bigger than Jeff Neal. All right. 2 fights left. We have the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko going against Alexa Grasso. Valentina, a very big favorite. She's sitting at what, -900 now? So I did parlay up Valentina Shevchenko. Yeah, it's a chalky week. I don't typically do these chalky parlays, but I do like Valentina as a parlay piece this week. Maybe not -900, but there's books out there that have much better price tags. Like I see a -750 out there, -600. But yeah, I like Valentina here quite a bit. A lot of people are looking to fade Shevchenko. I would just wait a fight. I don't think this is the right fight to do it. I don't think maybe she's regressed a little bit. I don't think so though. I just think she ran into a tough matchup with Taila Santos. And honestly, I would have liked to see that fight get rematched. But instead, she's taking on Alexa Grasso, who, in my opinion, just has nothing for her. The reason Taila Santos made that fight so close and arguably won is the fact that, Taila Santos is very physically strong. She can wrestle, she can grapple, and Alexa Grasso can. So I just don't really see where Grasso has success here. I mean, if Shevchenko, who is calling me? Anyway, if Shevchenko, if they wrote in the contract, hey, Shevchenko, you're not allowed to go out there and grapple, then I think this fight would be a lot closer, but I'd still favor Shevchenko there. I think Shevchenko's still the better striker. But the matter of the fact is, Shevchenko is going to grapple, and when she does, it's going to be pretty easy here. So I don't think Grasso's live at all. I know it's women's MMA, blah, 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 but, Shevchenko, she should get through Grasso, no problem. When it's going to get interesting is when, Shevchenko takes on like a Blanchfield. When she gets that rematch with Taila Santos, then we can talk about, hey, Taila Santos is probably live here. And then, hey, maybe we can make a case for Aaron Blanchfield, but I can't make a case for Grasso. I just don't see it happening whatsoever. So I did parlay Shevchenko. I'll talk about the parlay at the end of the show. From a DraftKings perspective, love me some Valentina. She scores very well, and especially if she does grapple, I think she can score very well also. So I like Valentina on DraftKings. Valentina decision. Yeah, I can see it. Oh, and I have the fight starts round 2 in the Valentina fight. And I agree, Karen. I'm not sure what's going on with these violence props. I don't think she finishes Grasso that early. She can get on top eventually, maybe finish her eventually, but Grasso's tough. Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm on the fight starts round 2 as a parlay piece myself. I don't hate it. Live bet if you like Alexa. Alexa's only chance is winning a split decision. Yeah, I think it had to be a split, and I think Valentina would have to go out there and fight the dumbest game plan in UFC history. Yeah, I would have loved the rematch. Yeah, me too. What do you think the odds might have been for Santos too, if you had to guess? I'd say Shevchenko's still slight favorite. Valentina round 1. Yep, 0 finishes in round 1 in the UFC for Valentina. That's why I like that fight starts round 2. Rear naked choke. Nah, I've seen people say Grasso sub, and I think that's not going to happen at all. No, I mean, she subbed Joanne Calderwood, but Joanne Calderwood's been subbed like 50 times. So if she submitted Valentina Shevchenko, quite frankly, I'd be shocked. I'd be just completely shocked. I don't see it happening. All right, main event time, and then we'll get out of here. I have some packing to do still, and then another show to do still, so lots to do. We got Jon Jones going against Ciryl Gane, main event, and hate to be boring here, but I don't have any bets on this fight. Everybody has a bet on this fight in the world, but me, just because I can't. There's a lot of question marks in this fight, a lot of red flags. Jon Jones coming up to heavyweight, 3-year layoff. What's he going to look like at this weight class? Just a fight where I just want to completely stay far, far, far away from a betting perspective. Nothing sticking out. The overs are popular, but you're laying minus like the over 1.5. Something great. Like the over 1.5 is like minus 450. I see a minus 590, or for the over 1.5. The over 2.5 is like minus 315. Over 3.5, 210. Like this is a heavyweight fight. So yes, the overs are going to probably hit here, but you were laying some chalk to get there. On the flip side, I'm not betting the fight doesn't go because I think this does go the distance. Yeah, nothing sticking out from a betting perspective. If you got Jon Jones as a dog, I think you did your job, obviously. He was opened up at like plus 140 on FanDuel, went to plus 130, and then plus 112. Yeah, if I could have got Jon Jones as a dog, I'd be very happy with that. But Jon Jones at minus 175, I can't get there. As far as a pick, I am going to go Jon Jones, but I don't have a ton of confidence in it. I really don't have a ton of confidence in Jon Jones, but I think the game plan's there. I think the game plan's been laid out, and I think he should take the grappling route. But again, how's his wrestling going to look like up a weight class, off a 3-year layoff? We're going to have to find out. So it's a sketchy fight. It's a very sketchy fight. And in my opinion, the sketchiest fight on the card, and it's the main event. But yeah, this is a 1-800 gambler fight for me. Picks Jones by decision. I'll be watching as a fan, but as a bettor, I will have $0 on this fight. Maybe like some degenerate stuff, like maybe in a parlay, but outside of that, don't see myself putting any major money on this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, not going to get to Gane much. He just doesn't score well. He's not going to go out there and wrestle. He's not going to go out there and land much volume. I don't see him getting a finish. So if Gane wins this fight, yes, it's 5 rounds, but I could see him scoring pretty low. On the flip side, I'm more so interested in Jones because, for one, we never see Jones at 8,400. We're always used to paying like 90, 9,200, 93,400, 9,600 for Jon Jones. So 8,400, it seems like it's kind of a steal here. And if Jon Jones does win this fight, it does mean that he probably went out there and wrestled and put up some good points. So I'm more so interested in the Jon Jones side of thing from a DraftKings perspective. So the pick's Jon Jones, but no bet. But I will have quite a bit on DraftKings for Jon Jones there. Alrighty. Yeah, there's apparently some hand injury. This is Scar on Gane's hand. I think he'll be all right. I wouldn't be surprised if Jones wins by KO or sub. Nothing would surprise me in this matchup. On the feet, it's Gane all day. I would favor Gane there. I don't know about like it's a crazy advantage though, but probably got a favor Gane there. Jones was getting pieced up in his last 3 fights. Definitely wasn't a good look his last 3 fights. That is for sure. Yo, did you see what John said to Bo and they embedded? No, I did not. What did he say? Yeah, I think he's fine. I think his hand's fine. Let's see if I missed anything here. His hand looked messed up. Gane's hand injury. I think he's okay. Under 4.5. Yep, you're definitely going contrarian there. A lot of people think this fight's going the distance. Gane all day, no question. Hard to go against the GOAT. I like Gane here. Like maybe from like a betting perspective, but I don't know. I think they both win and win by finish. All right, guys. Went a little bit over, but had a lot to talk about on this card. I'm going to quickly go through my action. I have 10 bets. The first bet is a half unit shot on VIviane every usual plus 102. I have 1.5 units on the Garbrandt Turner fight doesn't go minus 135. I have 1 unit on the over 1.5 in the Barriault Marquez fight minus 138. I have 2 units on the Brunson Plessis fight doesn't go minus 190. I have 2 parlays. The first parlay, 2.5 units. Shevchenko Grasso fight starts round 2. Parlayed with Bo Nickel, Jamie Pickett under 1.5 rounds, minus 133. This is my other parlay. I have 2.5 units on Ian Garry to win, Valentina Shevchenko to win, and then Mario Batista to win. This is next week. I wanted to get Mario Batista before he shot up to like minus 1,000. So I was able to get him there at minus 770. So 2.5 units on those 3 on that 3-leg parlay, Shev, Garry, and Batista. I have Cody Garbrandt, decision only, 2 units, minus 125. I have Jeff Neal, Shavkat Rachmanov, fight doesn't go to decision, 3.5 units total, 1.5 units at minus 190, then 2 units at minus 200. I have 1 unit on the Saaiman Martinez fight doesn't go to decision, minus 138. And then I have a half unit on Esteban Ribovics decision, scorecards equals no action, the finish only, plus 184 on FanDuel Sportsbook. On FanDuel, they call it the decision, no bet. All right, guys, best of luck for UFC 285. Tune in to the Best Bet live stream coming up in 1 hour and 55 minutes. Make sure you are subscribed, turn on the post notification bell, and we will talk to you guys very soon. See you guys later.